I tell you right now, something that I'm not seeing a whole lot of is peace. Something I'm not seeing a whole lot of peace. Now, I really feel like I keep reiterating some of these details, but I feel like it's necessary. I've got to reiterate these details because, if anything is for me, like, you got to address these things, Seth. You got to begin to deal with these things. You got to begin to confront these things. You got to begin to ask yourself. You have to begin to ask yourself, where are you at in the realm of peace? Matthew 5:9. I mean, Jesus right here is talking, and he's like, God blesses those who work for peace, right? They will be called children of God. I want to be called a child of God. I want to be called a child of God. I want to be that individual that God looks at and says, that's my child, because they're working for peace. Now, immediately we begin to look at the world around us. We begin to look at our own country. We begin to look at the issues that are facing us right now. We look at politics. We look at racism. We look at a virus. We look at all of these different issues, and those are issues. Those are things that we need to consider in the area of peace. When we're working towards peace, you better believe that not being involved, not allowing your life to be an influence, stepping back into the quiet and not engaging, you are not an individual who's working toward peace. Like, just being real, a lot of us have made this political. And it's not a political issue. It's not a political issue. It's a human being issue. It's an individual issue. It's about the human race, and it's all around. Whether you're throwing stones or racial slurs, whether you're whether you're an aggressive man or woman of authority, or you're aggressing against them. Guys, this is not easy to talk about, but it's real. It's real. And so when we talk about working towards peace, I know I said I wasn't really going to talk about it, but when we're working towards peace, we begin to look at those things. But what's going on in our own homes? What's going on in our own hearts? What's going on in our workplace? What's going on in our relationship with our spouse or our children? What's going on in the relationship with that loved one? What's going on in our friendships, our spheres of influence? What is happening within our church? I mean, like, what's taking place? Are you an individual who's working for peace? Because if you're working toward peace, if you're pursuing peace, it's got to start within. It's got to start within. And it's got to start in the areas that you have greatest influence over. Yes, you need to step out in peace and begin to influence the greater, the larger, the grander things, if you will. But those greater things can't be influenced with peace unless you are influencing the things in your own life with peace. You see what I'm saying? Like, you got to work towards peace. You have to work towards peace in your relationship with your children. If that means apologizing and asking forgiveness, that means apologizing and asking for forgiveness. You need to work for peace with your parents, children, young adults, teens. If that means calling your parent and working toward peace, that's what it means. You need to begin to, in your own life, in your own expressions, in your own individuality, begin to work for peace. Ultimately, working toward peace with God through His Son, Jesus Christ. I mean, what are you doing? Where is your own life at? What are your own experiences? What are your own moments? What are your own issues? And how do you need to begin to address those things so that you can begin a great work of peace? I want to be called the child of God. You want to be called a child of God. I want Him to be pleased with me, not because I feel like I have to make Him happy, but because I want to make Him happy. And He's delighted in the work and energy and effort, so much so that He will call me His child when I begin to work towards peace. We've got business to do today, guys. We've got business to do today. And I'm not talking about jumping on social media and clicking on clickbait and sending out, messages of what we consider to be peaceful statements. I know that sometimes finding peace requires a bit of offense. But you better make sure you're making the right choice. You better make sure you're offending in the right way, because if you're not offending in the right way, man, it's going to create issues, it's going to create problems. Don't use that as an opportunity to destroy people in what you call the pursuit of peace. Man, ultimate peace comes through Jesus Christ, who wants us to be at peace with His Father. I want to be called the child of God. I love you guys.